Hey, and welcome back to our deer head mounting part 2. Last week we got the mannequin ready. Today we're going to get our deer cape ready to mount on this mannequin we prepped. So we're going to come over here to my workbench and we're going to clean up this cape. When you get your animal in and get it all skinned out and sent to the tannery, that's only one basic part of getting something ready to mount. We have to get this whole skin detailed, thinned out, evened out a little better so it'll lay on the mannequin really nice. Now right now I'm cleaning up the nose nostrils so they'll tuck in our slots we made last week. Got one side done. Trim off the little excess here. Go over to the other side. Basically, I'm thinning out all the extra material that we have to leave on the skin so it'll survive the tan. Again, I always use a knife. I never use a razor blade or a skiff knife. There's our other nostril. Come over to the eyes. Also, while we're doing this, at this time, we'd have to do any repairs, sew up any holes, any skinning holes, bullet holes, any customer bonus holes that they did. We always get the story, well, I was in a hurry, or I was on the side of a hill, or it was too dark, or it was too light, or it was too hot, or it was too cold. But you try not to put any holes in it. This is the scent gland, or what people call a tear duct, that I'm thinning out now. Okay, we got one side done. I'll go to the other side. I use the I don't use the eyelid tuck method that apparently the whole world raves about. I don't believe in it. I still use tried and true pinning, 5-pin method that I learned from the true master of the world taxidermist, Mike Frazier. He learned it from Henry Winchers and Louis Paul Jonas back in the day. Some of the forefounders of modern taxidermy. Okay, that's done. Now I'll get the lips prepped. See, we have a really thick spot here on the chin. It's got to all be thinned out. See how that's, I probably can't tell on the camera, but that's pretty thick right there. I'll have to talk to myself about how I do my job. Maybe oh, don't do that. Maybe reprimand myself. My big mouth about not making a hole. I just made a hole. Maybe you can see how much that's coming off right there. It's getting better. We've almost got it. This is like the chin pad right on an animal. They have a thick muscle there. So we need to get it as thinned out. You can see how the skin's loosening up a little. Then we're going to put a little bit of smoothing clay on our mannequin when we mount this to even out the choppiness that we did when we tried to smooth this out. Now I'll just thin out the lips a little. Now you only need about 1/4 inch of lip skin to tuck in your lip slot. You start getting more than that, it starts jamming all up on you. You might have a thick, lumpy lip line instead of a smooth line. So anyway, a lot of it I cut off before I send it out. There we go. Pretty good. So we'll just trim all this off. The excess we don't need. Okay, that's done now. For the fun part, we got to do our ears. Now, I don't believe in bonded ear. Here's why. Here's an ear cartilage. If you leave this in and put Bondo in it, it's gonna give you all kinds of problems down the road. I like to use ear liners. I use superior ear liners because they're superior. No, because they're the best. So I'm going to clean up this ear, and this is going to make people scream, but I cut off the bottom of my ear butt. I don't believe in saving all this and tucking it in. You can't see it. I dress that when I finish the deer. If you're going to a competition, I guess you have to leave the ear butt in so the judge can look down there with his flashlight. So now I'm going to pull this ear cartilage out. My deer here are so early. They're, we start hunting in July, and archery and first gun season opens in August. So I have terribly thin ears for one thing, and they're all scabbed up. They're just a mess. Sorry. You get that one. Basically, I'm just using my thumb as a tool, rolling it off as I go. You try to get it off in one piece if you can. If you can't, oh well. Now see here, this ear is real scabbed up. So you have to be careful around that, because man, I don't want to say this because as soon as I say it I'll do it, but it's so easy to put a hole in it. There we go. I got my first cartilage out. I'm going to clean this up a little bit around here. Now we're going to save our cartilage because we're going to use them for our model to make our ear the correct size. Real quick, turn this one. This wasn't quite to the tip, so I have to come back in and just get it the rest of the way real quick. There we go. This sawdust is from the tumbler at the tannery when they tumble the hides. They tumble them in sawdust after they oil them. So we want to get all this off. I'll jump over to this ear, and this ear's got problems because this ear is all scabbed. So just something, like I said, we got to deal with these early season deer. So basically, I get in on this 6 spot here to get it started. And then grab it with my pliers right at the corner. Start working it with my thumb, keeping my thumb tight in against where I'm working as I go to peel it. And then once I get it started, come in with my other hand and try and go to town, so to speak. This one I'm going to try to be a little careful because it's kind of welded together with all that sunburn. Sometimes they have cancer in their ear too. It's like sun cancer. It's a California thing. You know, shouldn't go to tanning booths. Okay, so here we'll be careful on this bad spot. Oh boy. There's already a big thick scab right there. It's already a hole. I didn't even touch it. Came with it. So whenever I get these little holes, I try to work around them. And well, no, it's going to keep going. So every once in a while, you do have to come in with your knife and get that hard spot separated. I try to avoid that because the skin is so thin. I don't like to use a knife on it for fear of even damaging it worse. But you can tell by this color and how fat it is, just how scabbed up this ear is. Anyway, we've done it successfully, I might add. Except for this part, which is kind of welded together. Man. But like I said, this job you just gotta have patience, keep working at it. Okay, that's our second ear. Now we'll check for holes. Sew all those up. Oop, there's a hole. We get to fix a bullet hole right there. So we'll fix that real quick. And then we'll trim our earliners to fit. And then that'll be it for this week's lesson. So it'll just take me 1 minute to cut out this bullet hole. Now when you have to repair a hole, you see which way the hair is going and you fix it accordingly. So this one I'm going to cut out like this. And you have to kind of cut out a larger area than you need to, than the hole, so you can get it to sew up and not pucker at the end. It's called like a football shape because it's kind of like the shape of a football. So just grab my needle and thread, sew that up real quick. When it's in a bad spot like that, I do a double thread, but I always do a whip stitch. And I don't do a whip lock stitch because I don't want to lock the hide. I want it to be able to move around when we go to mount it. So I come in at the corner where I started, cinch my hide down, my thread down, and a whip stitch is just coming in from the skin side at an angle, coming out the hair side on the other side. Haired animals, you need to take real tight. Keep your stitches close together. The rule of thumb is every 1/4 inch or half the length of the hair, but this is so short that rule doesn't apply. It's more like every 1/8 of an inch. And we'll make this bullet hole disappear. Oops, just broke my thread. That was swell. Must have caught it with the sharp end of the needle by accident. You can see if you had a lot of repairs, you could lose a lot of time fixing all the bonus holes, I call them. But you can see this one's starting to lay down pretty good. We'll talk about how to card it up when we mount it, and it won't even show. Thanks for being patient, bearing with me when you do this. This is the only problem I can think of trying to mount one for you guys while you watch, because it does take time to do this. And hopefully you're going to find it interesting, and hopefully stick with it through the process, and maybe get a little bit of sense of the same accomplishment that I feel when I get something done, when we do get it done. Okay, we're at the end. Gotta tie this off. Okay, that's done. Now we're going to use this for our pattern. Next week we're going to put the ears in, set our eyes in the mannequin, and get the skin on there. So thanks for watching me. Sorry. we don't edit, so you're stuck with what you got. Thanks for tuning in to Chuck's Tuesday Tip, and I'll see you next Tuesday.